Welcome to English Odyssey. Get ready, everyone, because this story will take you on an exciting adventure. Let the story begin. Why do some people get fat? Most people think it is simple. They think we eat too much food and do not move enough. This is the calories in, calories out. Idea calories are a way to measure energy in food. If you eat more calories than your body uses, you gain weight. If you eat fewer calories than your body uses, you lose weight. This sounds easy. Doctors often tell people who are overweight to eat less food and exercise more. But is this idea really right? Does this advice really work? Let's think about the past. In 1934, a German doctor named Hilda Britch came to New York City. She was surprised to see many fat children. This was strange because it was the time of the Great Depression. Many families were very poor. They did not have much food. 1 in 4 children in New York City did not get enough good food. So why were some children very fat? Dr. Britch studied these children. She found they did eat too much food. But telling them to eat less did not help them lose weight. They tried hard, but they stayed fat. This made them very unhappy. Many people today have the same problem. They try to eat less food for many years, but they stay overweight. Doctors tell them that being too fat is linked to serious health problems like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. They still say, eat less, exercise more. The World Health Organization also says the main cause of being overweight is eating more energy calories than you use. This book asks if this common idea is wrong. Maybe the advice doctors give us is not right. Maybe fat children in poor times show us that eating too much is not the only reason people get fat. Maybe something else is happening in our bodies. This book looks at why we really get fat. It explores different ideas about weight and health. 2, eating less does not work. Many doctors tell people who are overweight to eat less food. They say we get fat because we eat too many calories, so they tell us to eat fewer calories to lose weight. Many people try this. They count calories and eat smaller meals. But does this really work for a long time? Studies show that eating less often fails. People might lose some weight when they start a diet, but after a few months or maybe a year, most people gain the weight back. Sometimes they gain back even more weight than they lost. Why does this happen? Think about what happens when you eat much less food than your body wants. You feel hungry all the time. It is very hard to feel hungry day after day. Also, your body changes how it uses energy. When you eat much less, your body tries to save energy. It burns fewer calories. This can make you feel tired and cold. Your body acts like it is starving and it fights hard against losing weight. A big study called the Women's Health Initiative showed this problem. Nearly 50,000 women were in the study. About 20,000 women were asked to eat a low-fat diet. They also ended up eating fewer calories, about 360 fewer calories each day. On average, eating 360 fewer calories daily should make someone lose weight quickly. They should have lost over 30 pounds in the first year. But after 8 years in the study, these women had lost only about 2 pounds on average. Their waists actually got a little bigger. This suggests they lost muscle, not fat. This is not a new finding. In 1959, Albert Stinkard and Mavis McLaren Hume reviewed the research on weight loss diets. They found that results were remarkably poor, even on diets with only 800 or 1,000 calories a day. Very few people lost a lot of weight, and almost nobody kept it off long term. More recent studies show the same thing. A large study by Harvard and Pennington researchers followed over 800 people who cut 750 calories a day. They had lots of help, but they only lost about 9 pounds in a year and started gaining it back after 6 months. Some diets cut calories even more. These are called very low-calorie diets, sometimes with only 600 calories a day. Doctors like George Blackburn and Bruce Bactrian at Harvard used such diets in the 1970s. Their patients lost a lot of weight, But the doctors stopped using the diet. Why? Because people cannot live on so few calories forever. It is like starving yourself. When patients started eating normally, again, they gain the weight back. So eating less does not seem to fix the problem of being overweight for most people in the long run. If eating less is not the cure, maybe eating too much is not the main reason why we get fat in the first place. 3, exercise does not help much. Many people believe that exercise helps us lose weight. The idea is simple. When we exercise, we use energy, which means we burn calories. If we burn more calories than we eat, we should lose fat. Health experts often tell us to exercise regularly to control our weight and prevent diseases like heart disease and diabetes. But does exercise really help much with losing weight? Let's look at the evidence first. Think about people who are poor in rich countries. Poor people are often fatter than rich people. This is strange because poor people often have jobs that need a lot of physical work. They work in factories, on farms, or clean houses. They move a lot, but they can still be fat. If moving a lot burned fat easily, these people should be thin. Studies of factory workers in Chile and farm workers in Texas found many were obese, even with hard physical jobs. Also, think about recent history in the last 50 years. Many more people started exercising in their free time. We have more gyms, running clubs, and new ways to exercise like spinning classes. But during this same time, more and more people became overweight and obese. If exercise prevented weight gain, we should have become thinner as a population, not fatter. What do health organizations say? In 2007, the American Heart Association and the American College of Sports Medicine gave advice about exercise. They said exercising 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is good for general health, but they also said the evidence that exercise helps people avoid gaining weight is not particularly compelling. Other health groups suggest we need 60 to 90 minutes of exercise every day just to stop gaining back weight we have lost. They do not say this much. Exercise will make us lose weight. Studies show that exercise alone does not lead to much weight loss. A study in 2000 followed people who lost weight and tried to keep it off. Exercise did not help them stop gaining the weight back. Another study in 2006 looked at nearly 13,000 runners. Even those who ran over 40 miles every week still tended to gain weight as they got older. A study in Denmark trained people to run a marathon. After 18 months, the men lost only 5 pounds of fat on average. The women lost no body fat at all. Why doesn't exercise help much? One big reason is that exercise makes you hungry. When you burn more calories, your body wants to replace them. You feel hungrier, and you might eat more without realizing it. Your body tries hard to keep its energy balanced. Even building muscle does not help much. 5 pounds of new muscle only burns about 24 extra calories each day. That is less than one small bite of bread. Until the 1960s, many doctors did not think exercise was good for weight loss. They knew it made patients hungry, but one researcher, Gene Mayer, started saying that exercise was very important. He believed people were fat, mostly because they did not move enough. His ideas became very popular, even though the evidence was weak. And now most people believe exercise is key for weight loss, but after many decades of research, there is still no strong proof that this is true. Exercise is good for fitness and maybe other parts of health, but it is not a good way to lose fat. 4. Why we really get fat. We saw that eating less food does not really help people lose weight. For a long time, we also saw that exercise does not help much with losing fat. So if these ideas are not the main reason we get fat, what is the answer? Is hormones. Think about how children grow taller. They do not grow just because they eat a lot of food. Children grow because hormones in their body tell them to grow. Growth hormone is one important hormone for growing taller because they are growing. Children need to eat more food. They feel hungry because their body is using energy to grow. Eating more does not cause the growth. The growth causes the need to eat more. Our body controls fat in a similar way. Getting fat is not just about eating too many calories. Our body fat is also controlled by hormones. These hormones tell our body when to store fat and when to burn fat for energy. Our bodies try to regulate fat carefully, just like they regulate how tall we grow. The most important hormone for controlling fat storage is called insulin. Insulin has many jobs in the body. One very important job is to help control the sugar in our blood after we eat. But insulin also gives strong signals to our fat cells. When the insulin level in our blood is high, our insulin tells our fat cells to take in fat from the blood and store it. It also stops fat cells from releasing the fat they already have stored inside so high. Insulin means we store more fat and burn less fat. When the insulin level in our blood is low, the opposite happens. Our fat cells can release fat and our body can burn this fat for energy. This gives us a different way to think about why we get fat. Maybe we do not get fat simply because we choose to eat too much food. Maybe we eat too much food because something is making our body store fat, that something is our hormones, especially insulin. When insulin tells our body to store fat, fewer calories are available for the rest of our body to use as energy. This can make us feel hungry, so we eat more. It might also make us feel tired because we have less energy available, so we move less. The problem starts with the hormonal signal to store fat. So the real reason we get fat involves our hormones controlling our fat storage. Insulin is the main hormone that tells our body to store fat. Understanding this helps us see why just eating less or exercising more often does not fix the problem of being overweight for many people. 5. The problem with carbs. We learned that hormones control fat storage. A very important hormone for this is insulin. So what makes our insulin levels go high? The main reason is eating carbohydrates, often called carbs. Many common foods contain a lot of carbs. These include bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, breakfast cereals, and sugary foods like sweets and cakes. When we eat carbs, our body digests them. They turn into a type of sugar called glucose. This glucose goes into our blood. We call this blood sugar. When blood sugar levels rise, our body releases insulin from an organ called the pancreas. Insulin helps move the glucose out of the blood and into our body cells. The cells can use this glucose for energy right away. Insulin has another very important job. It controls our fat storage. When insulin levels in the blood are high, insulin tells our fat cells to take in more fat from the blood. Insulin also tells the fat cells not to release the fat they already store. So high insulin means our body is in fat-storing mode. It stops burning stored fat for energy and starts storing more fat. Not all carbs have the same effect. Some carbs raise blood sugar and insulin levels very quickly and very high. This happens most with carbs that our body can digest easily. These are often refined carbs like white flour used in white bread, pasta cakes, and cookies. Sugary drinks like sodas and fruit juices are also a big problem. Starches like potatoes and white rice also cause a big rise in insulin eating. These foods often means our insulin stays high for longer. This gives our body more time to store fat. Other foods have less effect on insulin. Protein, found in foods like meat, fish, and eggs, causes only a small release of insulin. Fat, like in butter oils, or the fat on meat, causes almost no insulin release at all. This shows the problem with many carbs because they raise insulin levels so much. They push our body to store fat. They make it hard for our body to use its stored fat for energy. Over time, eating a lot of these easily digested carbs can lead to gaining more and more body fat. 6. Sugar is very bad. Carbohydrates can make insulin levels go up, but some carbohydrates are worse than others. Sugar is one of the worst carbohydrates for making us fat. This includes the normal sugar we put in coffee called sucrose. It also includes high fructose corn syrup, or HFCS. HFCS is used in many foods. Today we find these sugars in many things we eat and drink. Soft drinks like sodas often have a lot of sugar, or HFCs. Fruit juices can also have a lot. Sweets, cakes, cookies, and many processed foods contain these sugars too. It is important to read food labels to find hidden sugars. Why is sugar so bad? Because it contains a special type of sugar called fructose, table sugar. Sucrose is made of half fructose and half glucose. High fructose corn syrup usually has about 55% fructose and 42% glucose. Music. Glucose raises blood sugar quickly, but fructose works differently. Most cells in your body cannot use fructose directly. The liver does most of the work with fructose. When you eat a lot of fructose, the liver gets very busy. It turns a large part of the fructose into fat. This fat can build up inside the liver itself. This can cause a problem called fatty liver disease. The liver also sends this new fat out into the blood from the blood. It goes into your fat cells, making them bigger. Fructose is very good at making fat. Scientists sometimes call it the most fat-making carbohydrate. Eating a lot of fructose over time can cause another serious problem. It can make your body develop insulin resistance. This means your cells, especially muscle cells, stop responding well to insulin signals. This might take some years to happen when your body becomes resistant to insulin. Your pancreas has to make even more insulin to control blood sugar. Remember, high insulin levels tell your body to store fat. So insulin resistance leads to higher insulin levels, and higher insulin levels lead to more fat storage. It becomes a bad cycle. The fructose in sugar starts this problem. Even though fructose itself does not raise blood sugar right away, drinks with sugar are maybe the biggest problem. Sodas and fruit juices give us large amounts of sugar, especially fructose, very quickly. Our bodies were not made to handle so much fructose at once. Fruits also contain fructose, but usually less than sugary drinks, and the fructose comes with fiber. So if you want to control your weight, avoiding sugar is very important. Cutting out sucrose and high fructose corn syrup from your diet helps lower insulin levels. This helps stop your body from storing too much fat. It is a big step towards getting leaner and healthier. 7, a healthy way to eat. So what is a healthy way to eat based on these ideas? The main goal is to choose foods that do not raise your insulin levels too much. This means eating fewer carbohydrates, especially the types that your body digests quickly. You should avoid sugar in foods and drinks like sodas and juices. Foods made with refined flour, such as white bread, pasta, and cereals, should also be avoided. Starchy vegetables like potatoes and white rice also raise insulin levels quickly. But what about eating fat? For many years, health advice focused on eating less fat. We were told that fat, especially saturated fat from meat and dairy, causes heart disease. The advice was to follow a low-fat diet. However, the evidence connecting fat, even saturated fat, to heart disease is weak. Large studies have tested low-fat diets. The Women's Health Initiative study looked at nearly 50,000 women for about 8 years. Women eating the low-fat diet did not get less. Heart disease reviews by groups like the Cochrane Collaboration have also looked at many studies. Together they found there is not strong proof that eating less fat stops heart disease or helps people live longer. In fact, some studies show that diets low in carbohydrates but higher in fat might be better for heart health. These diets often improve important health numbers. For example, they often lower triglycerides, which are fats in the blood. High triglycerides are linked to heart disease. These diets also often raise HDL cholesterol. HDL is called the good cholesterol, and higher levels are linked to a lower risk of heart disease. If we look at human history, hunter-gatherers lived for millions of years, eating differently from us studies, suggest their diets were often high in protein and fat from animals. They ate the fat along with the meat. They ate far fewer carbohydrates than we do today. And the carbohydrates they ate came from wild plants, not from sugar or refined flour. We also see patterns when different groups of people around the world change their diets, when populations start eating Western foods, especially sugar and refined carbohydrates like white flour. They begin to suffer from Western diseases. These include obesity, type 2, diabetes, heart disease, and even some cancers. This happens whether their traditional diet was high in meat, like the Inuit, or mostly plants. The addition of sugar and refined carbohydrates seems to be a key factor linked to these health problems. 8. What you can do. Now, the main message from this book is simple. If you want to lose fat, or if you want to stop gaining fat, you need to control the carbohydrates you eat. Eating fewer carbohydrates is the most important step. This means you should eat much less sugar. It is best to stop eating sugar completely. If you can avoid sweets like candy, cookies, cakes, and ice cream. Do not drink sugary drinks like soda fruit juice or sweet tea. Also eat less of foods like bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and breakfast cereals. These foods contain many carbohydrates. They turn into sugar in your body quickly and make your insulin levels go up high. Insulin tells your body to store fat. So what foods are good to eat? You can eat meat like beef, pork, or lamb. You can eat chicken and turkey fish, and shellfish are also good choices. Eggs are good too. Eat plenty of green. Leafy vegetables examples are spinach, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, lettuce, and cabbage. These vegetables have fewer carbohydrates and are good for your health. What about fat in food? For a long time, doctors told people to avoid fat, but natural fats found in meat, fish, eggs, and oils like olive oil are usually okay. When you eat fewer carbohydrates, you do not need to cut out all fat. Remember, this is not a quick diet for just a few weeks or months. It is a change in the way you eat for the rest of your life. Think of it as a new, healthier lifestyle. When you cut down on carbohydrates, your body changes how it works. Your insulin level goes down. Insulin is the hormone that helps store fat. With lower insulin, your body does not store as much fat. It starts to use your stored body fat for energy. Instead, this is how you lose fat. Many people find they are not as hungry. When they eat this way, your body uses its own fat for energy, so you might feel full for longer. This means you do not need to count every calorie you eat very carefully. It is more important to pay attention to your body's signals. Eat when you are hungry. Stop eating when you are satisfied. You do not need to feel hungry all the time. Eating this way can help you lose weight and keep it off. It can also improve your health. In other ways, studies show it can help lower the risk factors for heart disease. It can also help people manage diabetes better because it helps control blood sugar levels. The main point is to change the type of food you eat. Eating fewer carbohydrates is more important than just trying to eat less food. Overall, focusing on food quality helps your body manage fat better. Before making big changes to how you eat, it is always a good idea to talk to your doctor. They can help you make sure the changes are right for your health. What's the one carbohydrate-rich food you would find hardest to give up? Hey there, just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a new story. Have a wonderful day, take care, and see you next time.